You could see a figure rushing towards the only lit-up cafe on the streets, muttering a series of shits. It was none other than Jungkook, who was running towards Jimin's cafe, which still seemed to be open. The moment he came nearer, he could see a silhouette of a person sleeping in a very uncomfortable position on one of the chairs close to the entrance. Without stopping, he rushed inside, kneeling beside the said sleeping figure. It was no doubt Jimin, who had fallen asleep waiting for the younger. Jungkook couldn't help but feel guilt surging through his whole body looking at the other. He was thankful that he still had the sense to come here first to check rather than going straight toward the other's home to apologize for not showing up on time. Jungkook POV. I didn't mean to be late, rather it was the opposite. I wanted to hurry to the cafe as soon as I could. And for that, I had managed to finish my meeting with the investors earlier. But then I got a call from one of my workers that there was a sudden fire breakage in the gallery. Today all the lighting work was supposed to be finalized, so maybe something went wrong there, was the thought that instantly came to my mind. I panicked upon hearing it and rushed to the gallery immediately without letting my worker further explain the situation. All that was in my mind at that time was that all of my work could be destroyed and the gallery opening was in a few days. When I reached the gallery, it looked normal from the outside, so I was confused but still went inside to see the damage, feeling very nervous. After doing a brief survey from inside, I realized it wasn't much, just one corner of the gallery got burned. Everyone had acted pretty fast and didn't let the fire spread much. The workers had already moved all the paintings and pictures away from the scene, but I had to make sure everything was fine. I didn't realize how long it was taking me, but when I did, I couldn't find my phone anywhere and it was already too late in the night. I hurried to shut the gallery down at the same moment, leaving the phone search for tomorrow, and sprinted towards the cafe. I was going to go directly towards Jimin's house to apologize and explain why I wasn't able to show up, but for some reason, I decided to check the cafe first and ended up running towards it, since I couldn't find any cab at this hour and I didn't want to waste any more time. And sadly my intuitions were right, Jimin was still waiting for me for this long. What would have happened if I hadn't come to the cafe at all? He would have ended up sleeping here all night. I felt really bad even thinking about it. Thinking about what to do, I checked the time on my watch. It was currently 11:49 p.m., so Jungkook thought to wake Jimin up and get him home, as it was already getting chilly and it was not safe to stay outside and keep the cafe unlocked all night. So with that in mind, Jungkook softly called Jimin, tapping on his cheek hoping it would work. But unfortunately, it didn't. Jimin was deep asleep. Thinking about what to do without startling the older, Jungkook thought of ringing some alarm, but he didn't know Jimin's phone's password and he didn't have his on him. He looked around to see if he could see something that would help him wake the other up, eyes landing on the cafe's telephone. Getting yet another idea, Jungkook gets up from his place on the floor and moves towards the telephone, picking it up and dialing Jimin's number on it. Now you would ask, how does he remember Jimin's number? Well, the day they exchanged their phone numbers, Jungkook had ended up staring at it all the way back home and somehow managed to memorize Jimin's number during that time. That time it was weird that he kept staring at the number, but now thankful that he did. Now back to Jimin and Jungkook. The moment Jimin's phone rang, he woke up immediately thinking Jungkook might be calling him, but seeing the cafe's landline number, he got confused, wondering who was even calling him through that when he was all alone in the cafe. Wanting to find out who else is there in the cafe without his knowledge, he turns around facing in the direction where he knew the landline was, only to get startled as he saw no stranger but the one and only Jungkook there, who was simply waving at him in greeting while holding the telephone in his other hand. Jimin was so shocked to see the person he had been waiting for so long in front of him, that he had landed on the ground within the next few seconds, taking the chair sitting on with him, hurting his elbow in the process. Jungkook got worried seeing the other falling on the floor with the chair. He hurried to keep the telephone and get to Jimin. But Jimin, being Jimin, managed to hit the back of his head while trying to get up even before Jungkook got to him. Ouch, ouch, Jimin wails, rubbing his head. Careful, careful, be careful Jiminy, Jungkook says as he finally gets to Jimin and helps stand up. He then picks up the chair as well before making Jimin sit on it. Pulling a chair for himself, he settles in front of Jimin, examining him to see if he seriously injured himself or what, that he fails to notice Jimin staring at him. It was quiet for some time, with Jungkook rubbing Jimin's elbow and head simultaneously to ease the pain and Jimin just staring at the other. Finally, Jimin decided to break the silence and ask the question he so wanted to ask ever since he saw Jungkook in the cafe. "Where were you?" This caught Jungkook's attention, as he suddenly remembered that he had to apologize to the older for being so late.